Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando, and we've got another Galaxy of Heroes video. Today we're going to be talking about the Night Trooper, which what I assume is going to be one of probably part 4, maybe 3 of the marquees that are going to release for Ahsoka Tano, the Galactic Legends version. I'm assuming this because, again, they were announced together, so I'm assuming, again, that we're going to get, the 3 marquees, 4 marquees, and we should be getting them. They usually announce them every 2 weeks, so be sure to subscribe to the channel for all the kit reveals that happen. We talk about them, we kind of analyze them, talk about the things that you should probably know. But the other big thing that I want to make an announcement for is we are like 1 day away from the raid dropping. I will be obviously recording my runs, figuring out what I found out. It's not going to be, maybe I find it out on the first run, maybe I don't. But at least it would be a good starting point for you and from what I'm hearing. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so that way you guys can maximize those raid rewards, get those max runs in, or at least optimize your runs while you're kind of working towards whatever that threshold is for you. So with that being said, guys, let's go into the Night Trooper. They are dark side, and like we guessed, with our video that we released, I think, what was it, like Sunday or Saturday, something like that. They are going to be both Imperial Remnant and Night Sister. Okay, so normally I skip over these because I don't want to say they're uninteresting, but they're just, they're not very pertinent to me. But what I will say is there's some pretty interesting stuff. So there is a new debuff, which is called Blight, has some similarities with Plague. They've got a new buff called Alert, which has synergy with turn meter gains and character using their special abilities. And then the shambling attacker who greatly benefits from potency. So he's someone that we're going to want potency on. There's a few of these characters out there like Afra and stuff like that. This is going to be kind of an interesting one where it seems like we want to go potency. Now, with this potency here, the reason why we want it, right, is because this Blight can sometimes be resisted, it seems like. But I wanted to point this out so that way everyone kind of gets the announcement, because a lot of times, right, typical people, we all have busy lives, we'll play the marquee event and then we'll just sort of let it play out for the rest of the 7 days. We don't go in because it's just there's no rewards, right? So why keep doing it? All right, well, that's going to change this time. As you can see here, it's going to differ slightly. So they're going to have repeat rewards in tier 1, which is going to reward the mods that are recommended. So again, I'm assuming it's going to be potency mods. So I'm sure the CG guys, they looked at the data and just said, hey, these guys' mods suck on potency because everyone just goes for speed and offense and all that other stuff. So they probably just like, hey, let's try to help them out with some potency mods so that way they can maybe even just slightly do this. It's great for new players too, right? You don't have to take allocated energy to try and get some more mods. You're going to get them here. So be sure you guys try and do tier 1 as often as possible, right? Whenever it resets the day. So they are going to have a datacron for Night Trooper as well, just like they did with Padawan Obi-Wan. I'm assuming it's going to be really good just because the kit on this looks really good, and it looks like there could be a lot of things. Like if you just add a few more stacks of Blight and all this other stuff, I think it could be really good. So just so you know, if you guys decide to go that route, you will get a datacron exclusive. Another thing that's interesting is, all right, so Blight, it adds a minus 100% health steal. However, that doesn't mean that you have basically prevented, any health steal from happening. What it means is that use that 100% as a kind of flat number. So if your opponent, Rey, has a 170% health steal cron, with Blight on, they only have a 70% health steal, right? So that's kind of what they're trying to go with here. So this is also another key indicator of what's going to happen, right? What squad does Night Trooper work with? They're a deal with the new Imperial Remnants being released, right? So obviously we're going to get some more. However, they also work as an option for Night Sisters. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the basic. It's called Shambling Shot. Its final text is deal physical damage to the target enemy and inflict Night Trooper with a stack of Blight, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. So one of the few times that it just, it can't. Until the end of the encounter. If this attack scores a critical hit, inflict healing immunity for 1 turn. Always a nice thing, getting that healing immunity. If Night Trooper has Blight at the start of this attack, inflict speed down on the target for enemy for 1 turn, which can't be resisted, and remove 10% turn meter. Again, Blight is where you have minus 100% health steal. The target takes bonus true damage whenever they lose turn meter from an enemy, which can be evaded or defeat them. So think like shock and all those. But you're going to remove all stacks of Blight when the character recovers to full health. So special 1, you have March of the Undying. It's a cooldown of 3. It's kind of a neat little animation there. Nice little like shooting at nothing. You're going to deal physical damage to all enemies, and a Night Trooper gains alert for 2 turns, which can't be copied. The enemy with the least turn meter is stunned, pretty cool, and inflicted with vulnerable for 1 turn. Remove 5% turn meter from all enemies. Call target other ally to assist. So again, AoE that calls in a target ally. You're also going to be able to inflict the person with the least amount of turn meter with stun. You're going to also gain this alert, which whenever an ally gains bonus turn meter, while not at 100% turn meter, this character gains 10% turn meter once per turn. The character assists whenever an ally uses a special ability. Okay, so basically once you get alert, you're going to be assisting. You're going to gain a little bit of turn meter if your friends gain turn meter as well, right? Okay, so now we've got special 2, which is a cooldown of 4. You're going to deal physical damage and inflict target enemy with a stack of Blight, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted until the end of the encounter for each stack of Blight on Night Trooper, max 10. Then remove 100% turn meter from the target enemy. All enemies are inflicted with crit chance down for 2 turns. Okay, so this is another one that's interesting. You're going to remove 100% turn meter from the target enemy. So I don't know. We don't know how fast this character is going to be, but if it ends up being fast, or if you end up being able to get like, I don't know, we'll just call it Thrawn. Not the Galactic Legend version that we're getting, but like our Thrawn that we currently have. I know he's not Imperial Remnant. I know he's not, some of the other ones, but it's possible, right, that you could potentially get this going, where you can swap to him, and then you could run this, and then you could reduce their turn meter down. Like, let's just call it, Rex 501st. You could prevent them from gaining their turn meter and kind of maybe go on a little bit of a run there. We'll see, though, again, how it all plays out. Again, it depends on stats, depends on a lot of different other things, but it should be interesting. All right, so it's kind of like Night Sister Zombie, where you've kind of only got like really like this one unique. It's kind of a simple kit, which is nice to see a return to, but I'm guessing Blight is going to play a huge part of this all. But anyways, this is where the Zeta and Omicron come in. And the final text is that the Night Trooper gets plus 35% potency, and whenever Night Trooper is damaged again, 10% offense stacking and 5 speed stacking, max of 100 speed. And 1 turn for 1 turn or until they're critically hit. Now, this is kind of the confusing part for me. This reads like, okay, this is something that can go up to, obviously, like it gives itself a limit. This part where the offense just says stacking. But then it kind of comes over here and it says 1 turn or until they're critically hit. Like, unless there's a ton of crit immunity that's going on in this kit or in the leadership or something like that, I mean, pretty much everyone crits now, right? Like, it's sort of one of the things that happens with relics. So, like this first part reads really, really nice. It reads like, hey, like this is going to be like, you could kind of come in with a big hit here. But if it's just for 1 turn or until they're critically hit, then that loses a lot of it. I feel like it's, its application here. Whenever an enemy recovers health, this is very interesting. Night Trooper is going to recover 100% health as well. So things right now at the top of my head that are, like we're going to want to see as a counter to a Night Trooper is going to be like shock, right? Those kind of things, right? Like we're going to want a healing immunity, all these other things. So enemies can't recover health from health steal whenever targeting Night Trooper. At the start of Night Trooper's turn, they gain 10% crit damage and defense penetration per stack of Blight on them for 1 turn. Whenever a Night Trooper reaches 5 stacks of Blight, they gain Frenzy for 2 turns. Very interesting mechanic as well. Like, you're going to be working on these stacks of Blight, and then you're going to get Frenzy, which means you're going to go often. Very interesting. While in Grand Arenas, Night Trooper has 100% max health and plus 35 speed. Night Trooper is immune to turn meter reduction, so there kind of goes a little bit of maybe like a mirror match kind of thing where you get out front and you just kind of reduce them down to 100% turn meter by 100% turn meter, or like you use like a fast Moff Gideon to reduce them down. Very interesting. If the ally leaders the leaders of the ally slot is Imperial Remnant, inflict a Psychic Blight until the end of the encounter at the start of each Imperial Remnant allies to a random enemy. Whenever an enemy is inflicted Blight this way, reduce the cooldown of Share My Suffering, which is this one that you're going to be able to remove turn meter from and kind of inflict more Blight. So it's gonna this is the part where it reads a lot like Plague to me, where you're inflicting Plague to inflict Plague. You're going to be inflicting Blight to kind of like inflict Blight more. And it's going to be kind of reducing everything down so you can kind of keep spamming that maybe. Anyways, that's the kit, guys. It looks very interesting. It looks very straightforward. Again, we always have to wait until we see the stats that come out with, these kit reveals to see like, hey, how fast are they? What's, this 100% health that comes in from the Omicron. If it's 60, if Night Trooper has 60% health or 60,000 health, like it's not that much, right? But if all of a sudden Night Trooper we'll just make up some random number like 200% health, all of a sudden this reads way differently than what we would have normally assumed, right? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know. He sounds sort of like he's this damage dealer tank kind of thing. I'm very interested to see where he kind of goes from here. I do think that we're gonna get these new Imperial Remnants. I'm wondering if the Night Sister call will be another thing that maybe we get with Morgan Elsbeth, where she's like, hey, if there's another Night Sister ally present, right, you gain 70% potency and 100% health or something like that, right? Like, and I would also consider her to be an Imperial Remnant as well. She seems like she's really fallen in line with her, in the Imperial Remnant in the Ahsoka show. So I would assume like that seems like a natural fit to me. I don't know who the other ones are going to be, but I'm very curious to see. I'm assuming we're going to get a few light side ones, right? I feel like Jedi Padawan, Sabine is going to be one of them. Who knows? Maybe Ezra. There's quite a few characters to pick from. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it taught you a little bit something. Every time I read this, I discover something new. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys in the next one.